The drama continues at the Southern National Motorsports Park for their Thanksgiving Classic, the limited late model race that saw a scuffle break out between Bradley McCaskill and his team and Ryan Joyner and his team, following Joyner dumping McCaskill with less than 10 laps to go, has now boiled over into the late model stock race, the 250 lap race that is supposed to be the headline of the Thanksgiving Classic. We have this report from Matt Weaver saying Bradley McCaskill reached in Ryan Joyner's car during the limited late race and pulled his ignition wires out. So apparently, in retaliation, the Joyner bunch pulled the ignition out of McCaskill's late model stock. We're in a delay to allow Bradley time to repair his late model stock. Before we get you caught up on what's going on, please, if you could hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our coverage of auto racing throughout the United States. Let's get you caught up. Basically, what happened is you saw Bradley McCaskill here in that black number 7 car. Ryan Joyner in the white car on the outside of him were kind of beating and banging for a couple of laps, under 10 laps to go, kind of trying to race for that second place spot. They didn't really have anything for Robert Arch, who went on to win the race, but they were racing for that second place spot. They were beating and banging with each other. And I guess Joyner just had enough of it and decided to send McCaskill into the outside retaining wall of the turn 1. Let's take a look here at them beating and banging here for a little bit before Joyner decides to lose his patience and send McCaskill into the wall. See, just good, solid, hard racing, beating and banging, keeping each other tight, bouncing off each other's doors. Nothing really wrong with this here. Good, solid, strong racing there. And then Joyner decides to slip in behind McCaskill. Racing really good, really strong racing here. And then he just decides to really put his nose into him around the entire turn 3 and 4. Both of them getting sideways. And then he just decides to send him and crashes him into the wall. And the caution would come out, 7 laps to go. So I don't really know why he decided to do that or what the reasoning was, because I thought they were racing pretty hard, pretty good there. Nothing, I mean, obviously it wasn't clean. They were beating and banging with each other, but it's good, solid, hard, short track racing. McCaskill would get out of the car. Joyner would be sent to the pits. He would be parked. The track would say, "You're done." McCaskill here, you can see right here, he's got his helmet in his hand. He then decides to reach into Joyner's car, and obviously he pulls the ignition wires out, is what the reports that we're getting from Matt Weaver. So let's take a look at this here. You can see he does dive into the car. He's clearly reaching for something. He pulls it out. Someone's shoving him from behind. Just kind of mayhem breaking out. People pushing and shoving. People getting pulled off of each other. They're trying to pull Joyner out of the car here. You see 2 guys trying to pull Joyner out of the car now before people finally break that up. But just a big scuffle happening here. Chaplin's getting involved, trying to get people to to find some cooler heads there. Just absolute mayhem. And then while the Southern Ground Pounders were racing, I guess the Joyner team decided to go and take out the ignition box for McCaskill's late model stock. You can see a little bit of what's going on here. This is during the Southern Ground Pounders getting interviewed for their victory, for winning. So kind of taking away from them. But let's take a look here. You can see someone, it looks like they have the ignition, that guy has an ignition box in his hand. This guy's trying to some shoving. I don't know. It's hard to tell if he has an ignition box in his hand or what he's got in his hand. But the reports are that they did indeed take the ignition box out or did something to the ignition wire, so they're having to replace the entire ignition box. And that's why the late model stock portion of the race has been delayed for them to fix that. So kudos to NASCAR officials letting them fix that car, getting it all tip-top to shape after it was an attempted sabotage by Joyner's team. But just absolutely ridiculous what's going on here. I really don't even understand why Joyner decided to send McCaskill. I thought it was pretty solid, tough, short track racing. It really is kind of perplexing. I don't know if there's a history between these 2 guys or what, but clearly it feels like there had to have been something else going on here, because what we saw on the track didn't seem to dictate what the actions that actually occurred. just sending him into the wall, and then McCaskill obviously retaliating by pulling out the wires, and then Joyner continuing the cycle of revenge by going after McCaskill's late model stock. So just kind of a lot of mayhem happening down there at Southern National Motorsports Park. And it's just absolutely wild. But I'll leave it to you guys. What do you make of what is going on here? I don't feel like there's any really good side to this. I thought McCaskill probably was the initial victim, but then he decided to pull the ignition wires out. And then again, the cycle of revenge continued with Joyner's team going after his late model stock entry. So I don't think I think there's all a bunch of losers, and we'll see what happens if the track does indeed decide to dole out some penalties. Obviously, I'm not sure how that would work, given this is kind of like a Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving Classic, and it's a kind of highlight race. I guess it's not really a weekly series race or anything like that, but maybe there's some kind of suspensions or fines or something like that that they can dole out, and maybe NASCAR gets involved as well. But let me know what you think if think should happen to these two drivers, if NASCAR should indeed get involved, if there should be some penalties or fines or suspensions or whatever. Let me know what you think those penalties should be, or if there should even be any. And just let me know what you think is going on down here, your opinions about what is going on down here at Southern National Motorsports Park.